Okay, so I wanted to make a little video here. I just finished boiling all the turkey. I took the bits out. Um, so I did two different pots, kind of what I mentioned here. You can see that the fluid's a little bit low on each one because I took some of the volume out from the bones. But over the 3 hours, I did have to refresh the pots with some water so it stayed fairly level as it boiled down, which you'll want to do because these pots don't really hold a ton of volume, so you will want to refresh them with water as it simmers and pulls all of the good bits and the sauce and all the, it's really not sauce, it's really like juices and collagen and all that stuff out of the bones so that you get a really good stock. At any rate, I'm going to strain this here shortly. I've got a chinois, if you've never seen one of these. These are like the best, okay? They're super fine mesh. They're going to get all of the bits out. Okay, you could use a regular strainer, like for pasta or something, but a lot of stuff is going to get seep through. So these are the best bet. I think you might even be able to get these at Walmart nowadays for super cheap. So let's go over here. Let's look at the bowl. All right, I've got all the stuff in here. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Right. So right now it just looks like, yeah, it's a bunch of disgusting ass stuff, right? So I'm going to go through, I'm going to pick out all the bones, but in here is a ton of really good meat because I had the thigh meat. This was the big drumstick that I cooked, right? You're going to have to pull out some of this stuff, which is like, I don't know, like tendon, ligament, little bits, whatever. They come out pretty quick and easy. But save all of this. I probably won't use it for Thanksgiving. I'll probably save it, like I said, for maybe like a turkey enchilada or something. But I mean, there's a bunch of this meat. You could use this for turkey soup if you wanted to do that on Thanksgiving or just at a later point in time. You know, just pick it all out, put it in a bag, put it in the freezer, pull it out when you need it. So that's the first thing that we're doing, trying to salvage everything, make sure that nothing goes to waste with that carcass, right? We trimmed it down. We have the breasts are brining. As mentioned, everything's hidden back here. I know you can't see anything. It's back there in the pots, covered in the brine solution. I'll leave that there for 2 days. And then I'm going to have a bunch of stock, some of which I might freeze. I don't know, I'm going to let it sit for a few days, and then I'll figure out whatever's left over from gravy, using it on my stuffing. Anything else will go for like a soup of some sort. All right, so it's Thursday morning. It's turkey day. It's like 12:45, 12:20. Slept in, had some coffee, watched a Thanksgiving Day parade. Riley, I'm trying to make a movie in here, don't you know? You see this guy over here? He doesn't, no respect, right there, and that's his mother who doesn't teach him how to be. Anyways, so I did a little bit of prep. Let me turn the camera around here. I did maybe like half an hour of prep, so everything's good, right? So we've got the potatoes sitting in water, keeps them from getting brown, so they're ready to turn on whenever I want to. All of the turkey stock that we had over here, if it's really gelatinous, and you know you did it right, so that's going to be loosened up. I'm going to use that for my stuffing and for my gravy. And then I have another little pan here with mirepoix, carrot, celery, onion. I'm going to sweat this off for a little bit, deglaze it with white wine, and then put 2 really big scoops of the stock in here to reduce down for gravy for the mashed potatoes with a secret ingredient, truffle oil at the very end, and a little bit of tarragon. That's going to make it pretty tasty. Then we have the chopped carrots. Right, so this is chopped, this is going to be roasted, so they're ready to be tossed in oil, salt, pepper, seasoned, and then the same thing with the green beans. So everything's out and ready for the most part. This only took half an hour. I'm probably going to start cooking in another half an hour at 1 o'clock. The refrigerator smells very good and is nice and empty because of the Chinese 5-spice turkey that's back there. So I'm going to sear these off right now and get it really nice and dark colored, so I'll come back with a video on that. That way they're seared off, they're ready to go. I'll have them on a sheet pan, probably just sitting in here, and then when it's game time, throw it inside the oven. The leg, I'm actually going to throw in the oven first to give that a head start because leg meat takes a little bit longer. So once I sear it and put some color on it, I will put it into the oven for probably like 15-20 minutes before I even put the breasts in. That way it gets cooked nice and solid all the way through. All right, more to come. So the turkey breast is now in the pan. I'm going to sear it fairly at a low number, okay? It's a big pan, so you want to keep it hot, but I'm going to say 5, because I don't want it to cook too fast and go all the way through, but I want it to create a nice golden skin, so at a lower heat, I can cook low and slow, which will take longer to create a little bit of that golden color. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take almost all of the time before I flip it, and throw it in the oil to create a thyme oil. Then I can baste or arrose my turkey breast to get all of that flavor into it. So I rubbed it a little bit with the thyme, but it's not sticking very good. So I'm going to throw the oil, or throw the thyme in the oil, so I have like a thyme-infused oil that I can baste on the turkey, and then that's going to go into it while I'm searing it here. A little bit of the thyme in the pan. It gets like a really nice popping sound. So this has only been just a couple minutes after I clicked the video. You can see underneath, we're already starting to get a nice golden color. Okay, it's not enough yet, so I'm going to turn it up just a little bit more, to a little bit of a higher heat, burn some of that in. But while I'm doing that, I could be basting this. I can't do it while I'm holding the phone at the same time, but I could add a little bit more oil in here so that I can start basting some of this thyme flavor up and over the turkey on this side, and I'll do it on the top as well while I flip it over. Flip it over, look at that. Getting dark, kind of sexy. Not dark enough, but it'll still get a little more color when it's in the oven. Okay. This tenderloin right here will probably be done super early, so I may actually just cut it off before I even roast the turkey, and it'll be like a little appetizer, a little taster before you even have turkey dinner. So I'm going to put this down so that I can baste the top side with my spoon and get a little bit of all this thyme flavor on top of the turkey going into. So this is what the bottom side looks like. Got some good golden color to it. I just flipped it over just so you can see, look, it's still super raw. We're just putting some color into it. Oh, yeah. We got, I don't know about you, but we got the shitty smoke alarms that like to go off for no good reason. Anyways, we still got more to do. All right, everybody stop talking. I'm still in the middle of a video. I don't give a fuck about this thing. All right, so from here, I'm going to take this. I'm going to put it on the rack over here. Hold on one second because I can't do both. Okay, so turkey breast number 1 is done. I have it here on a roasting rack on a sheet pan. I'm going to do the second one, which if you remember is the Chinese 5-spice. So the nice thing about the roasting rack is, one, while it rests here, it's not going to cook because it keeps it elevated. That way if there's any juices out, it doesn't sit in its own juices and keep cooking. The other nice thing is that I can put the other turkey on the other side because they have 2 different flavors. They'll be able to use the same space or the same pan and not waste space in the oven, so they can cook side by side without directly mixing and mingling any of the flavors. I'm sure that I might get a little bit of aroma coming off of the Chinese 5-spice that might come over here, but I would not cook both of these on the same sheet pan without a rack or something separating the two. So if you don't have a roasting rack like this and you're going the route with 2 different turkey breast flavors, I would save these pans right here. I wouldn't even clean it because these are oven safe pans, this one and this one over here, and I would have just let the big turkey breast cool, put it back in here when the pan is cold later on when it's time to put it into the oven, and then use this pan for the regular turkey breast and then keep this one for the Chinese 5-spice. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to cook the next turkey breast, the Chinese 5-spice, and I'll come back to you guys for that as well. Number 2, the 5-spice Chinese rub turkey breast and the leg are in here. I'm also going to start part of my gravy right now. I'm going to sweat this off, get it really good and going. I'll add a little bit of the white wine, a little bit of stock, and then you can just let this sit for a long time because all we got to do is come back and reheat it. Now, this is the messiest part. We're doing sauteing, stuff's going to splatter. Don't worry about it. Just like, look, you can see there's oil over here. There was a little bit over here. I did wipe it down with my fingers. But get the biggest, dirtiest part out of the way first. That way, when you want to come back later and do more stuff, then you can kind of wipe down and work with a semi-clean area. But don't worry about it being dirty right now. Get this knocked out, get it all set up, and you can do a light wipe down and continue cooking in a semi-clean area. But sauteing will be a little bit dirty in the beginning. So I'll show you when I flip this over what the color is going to look like. It's going to be real dark because the Chinese 5-spice has dark bits into it, like cinnamon and cloves and those other spices. So yeah, pushing forward. Just flipped it over. This is actually looking super dark and sexy. Dark and sexy. You can see we're getting a really good sear over here, and then the darkness is over here because of the Chinese 5-spice. So that's good. I'm going to still saute this one on the other side for a little bit so it has it's cooked on both sides equally. The drumstick I'm going to give a lot of extra attention. So the breast will probably be done first. I want to try and hit all 4 sides of this and a little bit extra. That way we can get deep towards the bone, and then that'll go into the oven first. Gravy. Coming together slowly but surely. Yeah, I'm going to sweat this off really hard. Maybe I'll even get a little bit of caramelization in here so it has a little bit more of a roasty flavor. A couple scoops of the stock, Pour that in here, cook it down so it gets real good and gelatinous. Umami, right? That's the special word. And then I'll probably kick back and have my first glass of wine at 1 o'clock. There we go. Second turkey breast done. I know it's really bright with the window right here. Nice and dark compared to this other one, right, which is light and golden. I need to toast off the breadcrumb over here, or for the stuffing. And let's see, this part's coming together. You can see down here, we're getting some caramelization on the pan. Everything's starting to turn a little bit brown. It needs a little bit more. I'd probably say another 5 more minutes before I add the wine. Cook that out, and then put a couple scoops of the turkey stock in here to make the gravy. And I'll finish that off. I'm not going to document that part because I just told you what to do. So, until we get to a later point, I already got myself my glass of vino is poured. And yeah, now I can go chill for like another hour before I have to cook again.